Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Fringe North podcast. I'm Caitlin Townsend. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the project coordinator for this year's festival. And I have with me today Alex. Alex, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your show and your submission for the festival this year?
Hi, I'm Alexandria McCauley, or Alex McCauley. I go by she, her pronouns as well. Uh, I am a actress primarily slash writer director. And this year for Fringe North, I will be submitting a piece I have written, directed, produced, and have many actors as well as myself acting in. And it is called The Wanderer's Guide to Narrow Pines.
Hmm. Sounds
Um,
exciting. Do you want to
yes.
tell our audience a little bit about what that show is about and what they can expect from it?
So it is actually a pilot episode to what will soon be a fully produced audio drama miniseries. So it is actually being premiered, the first pilot episode, workshopped episode at Fringe North.
Awesome.
Uh, so that's very cool and it's very exciting for everyone involved. Uh, yeah, so Wanderer's Guide is basically the story about three college students, Crosby, Catherine, and Russell, who decide for their summer vacation they all get jobs in this small town called Narrow Pines, which Russell's family has connections to. And with their time in Narrow Pines, they start to unravel the mysteries and secrets that have been buried deep beneath the surface. I guess that's the very eloquent way of putting the brief synopsis of what the show's about. But basically, it is a fiction mystery, uh, science fiction kind of fantasy
Mhm.
drama piece. And it is all done by audio, so there will be it's all audio acting, so no visuals. So it'll be an interesting piece to have in Fringe North because people can just sit comfy in their own homes and listen
Yeah,
to
for sure.
it, and let their imaginations go wild with how they envision the characters and the surroundings.
That sounds really exciting. So, how did this project come to be, and what sort of kicked off this idea to create this radio show?
So, I currently attend the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama in Wales as an acting student, and a lot of our classes have to do with pushing ourselves not only to be actors but to be artists.
Mm.
So to not only focus on one piece of the theatrical art form but many and explore them. And one of the projects we work on at our school is to write and direct and star in our own piece of work, and we do that at
Nice.
the end of every year. So this year I got to do a short film, which is something that was new to me and it was a really great experiment. But at the college, I was able to take radio classes and I loved them. And I love the idea of radio dramas. I actually have my own podcast with a couple of friends that are actors who will also be featured in Wanderer's Guide for Fringe North. And I just love the medium, and I think there's a lot of great new uh, podcast slash audio drama slash mini series that are being put out there. And I think since quarantine and since the whole COVID thing, it's been a great way for artists across continents and countries to connect and be able to record in their own homes and make something with many people.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh,
and I think the inspiration behind the show itself it kind of just came from my own mind. I think I might have had a dream about kind of aspects of it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, and I
nice.
just started writing it down, and it evolved from there.
That sounds awesome. So this was kind of a little bit of a response to the COVID environment and the shifting scene for actors right now and artists. Yeah, everyone's kind of learning how to do things differently, and it's
Yes.
really awesome. So coming from the acting sphere and then moving into more, I guess this would be like voice acting.
Mm.
What do you find different about those two mediums and how you portray characters in those two different spaces?
So it's crazy. you don't think about it, because when you watch live theater, a lot of things come from the voice. One of the big things you're
Mhm.
taught is always focus on the text. There's clues in the text.
Mhm.
Rely on the text. No matter what, if you get stuck, go back to the text. So has always been a very text heavy medium. But
Mhm.
what we don't realize is how much, even though from that text heaviness, we still rely so much on the physical being of the actor.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what, like, if an actor turns around and there's a secret, an actor could smile at another actor. And it's just like that. There's no verbal. It's all physical communication. But we don't get that in the lines. We get that by the actors acting it out, or stage directions written in the script. With audio dramas, you don't get that. So you have
Mhm.
to think of really creative ways to not overly flood the audience with exposition and monologues from characters, but so they can understand, oh, that seems suspicious, or oh, that's very interesting. So it all relies on the lines or breathing patterns. Like, if someone's breathing into a mic really heavily, it means they've either ran really fast, or they're experiencing something that's making them scared. So breathing's really important in a mic. Like grunts, sighs, like all of those things you don't really think about, but that happen in real life, that make our brains indicate that something is something else,
Mhm.
helps in audio. Uh, it also helps to have different voices, to differentiate voices and characters. And I think when it comes to writing a script, definitely for audio, you have to be able to look at a script and say, okay, I know who's talking, and I don't have to look at uh, the character who's talking. I know this is so and so talking, or this person talking, just because of their speech.
Mhm.
Because the way someone speaks is very different to someone else.
Yeah.
So when you're writing that, you have to think of, catchphrases someone might say, or little idiosyncrasies that someone else has that someone else doesn't. Uh, so someone might go on for a long time without a breath in their sentences, and it's just constant commas. Someone else might just have constant full stops
Yeah.
or periods at the end of their sentences, and it's just like 3 words in a sentence. Uh, and it's up to the actor then to be able to translate their way of speaking that the writer has put down within
Mhm.
um, those punctuations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that you use those punctuations as you're like creating the characters to show different sides of the characters as well? Like how yeah.
Definitely. I think personally, when I use full stops right one after the other, so if you have someone saying no, period, not this, period, it makes it more direct. But
Mhm.
if it's commas, it's more of a flowy speech, so it means there's more of a relaxation to it.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful when writing, and I've noticed this while acting and doing many plays and stuff, how important it is to uh, adhere to the punctuation a writer has, because it's there for a reason. They put a
Mhm.
period there for a reason, or a comma there for a reason. It's not just because phrase structure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times phrase structure does not make sense when you look at a script versus when you look at a novel.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I really want to explore with this piece, is how people talk and how you can get their personalities from the way they talk. So with the 3 main characters, they all talk very differently. Like, one of them is very highly educated, came from a very rich background, so they have a very flowy way of speaking, and they can go on for hours and hours because they love the sound of their own voice, versus someone else who just wants to get to the point,
Mhm.
and just doesn't have to say much. They'll just say it as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's,
and that informs it. So, yeah.
that's really exciting. So has have like you've been in the acting space for a pretty long time then you had shared. So how do you feel like over the years you've grown and shifted to be more aware of these things like punctuation and just how speech flows in these different pieces?
I think the easiest answer to give is Shakespeare.
Mm.
um, I went to a boarding school of the arts before coming to Royal Welsh, and I've taken many Shakespeare classes with many great actors who have studied in Canada, America, and in England, and I've gotten that opportunity and the privilege to do that. And one thing I've learned is go back to Shakespeare. You know, even though it's many years old now, and some of the scripts are so like overdone play wise, and you know you can get sick of it at times. As a writer, it's always great to go back to
Mm-hmm.
because his use of phraseology is very interesting to look at. But I think when I was a younger actor, I didn't have much appreciation for it. Like, I would skim over lines or forget a line and be like, you know, I got the point across. But now that I'm older, I'm like, every word matters. Do it to what the writer said, unless the writer says otherwise. So yeah.
Yeah, so being kind of a multidisciplinary artist in terms of being a writer and an actor and now voice acting as well, uh, what do you feel is like your, I mean, I'm sure different mediums bring out different sides of you, but what makes you come alive most of all these options, or is everything kind of different and equal in different ways?
I think equal in different ways is a good way of putting it, because I think acting will always be my number one, because that's what started my passion into theater, was
Hmm.
being on stage and being an actor. So I always think that's going to be the core for me. But then I experimented in directing, and I love that because, especially, I don't like directing things that are just like, you move here, you move there, you do this, you do that. I like it when it's like, okay, ensemble, let's work together to do this. I like directors like that, and I like being a director like that. And I think that was a I was in got the opportunity to be in the first Fringe that Sue did. And I had a show called The Drowning Girls. And two friends and I did it, and I directed it. But to be honest, it was an ensemble piece. Like, if someone suggested something, we did it and we tried it, and if it failed, we did someone else's idea, and we just kept tossing back ideas. And you know, I might have been the one to finalize it in the end, but I like when there's communication. Like with the script, I sent out the roughest draft of the script to all the actors and was like, okay, you tell me if it doesn't sound right, and we're gonna work it out, and what will sound right in your mouth when we
Hmm.
record. And so I've actually gotten a couple of actors being like, actually, when I say this, it doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth versus when it's on the page. And then so we'll talk about it. I'm like, okay, well, we have to keep this and this in because of these reasons. But yeah, let's change this world. Let's change the phrasing of this. Like, how would
Hmm.
it best suit you? And I think that's important to do, especially that I am writing, directing, editing, and I have the opportunity to do all of this for Fringe. I think it's good to have other people's opinions and input into it, and it's not just all me and the stress of having it all on me. It's definitely a collaborative process.
Yeah, yeah, I think that collaboration is so important, and especially when you're working with different artists, like everybody has their own flavor of things. So how they interpret something, even reading it off the page, they might think you even meant for it to be that way, but then they like say it out loud, and you're like, oh, that's actually better than what was in my head. Like I love that like
Exactly.
co-creation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of returning to Fringe North, because you have been here before, what are you most looking forward to? And obviously there were things that like drew you to be part of the festival again. So yeah, I'm just curious about that piece.
Um. Yeah, I've always wanted to come back. I loved it the first time I did it. I was 16 the first time I participated in it, and it was amazing. Now I'm 20, and I'm coming back with a bang. But or what I hope is, I hope people enjoy the piece. There's a lot of people that are giving some great work and doing some great things with it that I'm so happy about. And I think it's very intriguing. And yeah, I think what drew me back to it is I think it's so hard during these times to lose sight as an artist.
Mm.
And I think even though it's not the usual in person live performances that we all know and love and we miss dearly, I think any form of getting any type of art out there at this point for actors, artists, dancers, visual artists, digital artists, filmmakers. Like it's a great platform to be able to put everything out there.
Hmm.
And I'm really excited, to be honest, to see other people's works,
Yeah.
because I know, knowing Fringe, that we'll get a variety of stuff, and I can't wait to just sit back and watch every single show and be like, ooh, I like, that's so cool. That idea's so cool. Oh, that's amazing that they came up with that during these times. And I think, even though it's been a struggle for a lot of people to get past all of these trying times, as we're so used to hearing at this point. Um, I think through that, artists have always been able to adapt, like no
Hmm.
matter what, through famine, through wars, they've always adapted, they've always changed, and they've always changed for the better. And
Hmm.
then they've always been able to assimilate back to the old
Yeah.
and bring that back into the new. So I'm not worried about losing live theater and everything becoming digital, because I think there's too many people out there that just miss it and love it
Mhm.
too much.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely glad we get this opportunity to try something new.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's different benefits and detriments to either form, right? So it's
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, what are you hoping that festival goers gain from your piece this year, and what can they expect yeah, from coming to your show?
Uh well, what I really would love is to garner interest from the pilot. And if the audience reaction is like, oh, this is so cool, then I feel I'll have the confidence to take this forward. But not only that, I think it's being able to try out a new audio medium,
Hmm.
and experiment with that, and a new form of acting and directing and writing. But most of all, I think it's bringing back a story and a
Yeah.
world. Like, I think, we get so caught up in movies and television, because that's like a big medium that we can like invest in a world that has been created. And I think being able to take your phone and like go on a walk and have the world right in your ears and being like, whoa, like while experiencing the world around you is a different kind of crazy. Like, I love
Mhm.
podcasts,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of fiction podcasts that I'll like go for a walk on, and I'll just stop mid walk and I'm like, wow, that just happened in this world, that was created. And I love world building. I
Yeah.
always have, and character building. And so I think what I want is to have people interested in where it goes further, and to
Hmm.
kind of garner that audience reaction, but also to get feedback from it as well. I
Yeah.
mean, if people have great things to say, or people have, like remarks of being like, oh, like I wish like we would have gotten this out of the first episode, or this, I would have been like, that's great. Now I know where to take this further.
Hmm.
Um, and again, collaborative process. But yeah, I think mostly I just want to give a new world and a new story to people and to get excited about.
That's so exciting, and I really look forward to listening to your piece and engaging with the material. It sounds phenomenal and very, very awesome.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I am noticing the time. We are short on time. So is there anything else that you want viewers of this podcast to know about your piece or to say about the festival in general?
I mean, for anyone who's attending any pieces of the festival, go see as much as you can.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what your interests you think may be. Fringes are to expand your horizons. So please go and experience as much of the shows as you possibly can. For my show, if you love a good piece of mystery and fiction, or fantasy and suspense, and characters to get very painfully attached to, then yeah, you'll enjoy it. And I hope you do. And I look forward to being able to release it to you all.
That's awesome. Well, we're so excited to have you part of the festival this year. And anyone watching, you can come check out this festival from August 19th to 22nd with a sneak preview on the Wednesday night before. So yeah, plug into the festival, come out, support Alex and her project. And yeah, we just thank you for your time and for watching. Miigwech, merci, and gracias for being part of our podcast today. Hope to see
See
you
ya.
all at the festival. Bye.